During the trial, he tweeted, "Justice has been served." But what did he truly mean by that? Simply put, even though it couldn't bring his brother back, Michael Jackson didn't die by accident. His death followed a carefully planned script, or at least that's what his sister Janet Jackson has claimed. If Janet's words are true, then the King of Pop's passing wasn't just a personal loss, but a calculated conspiracy carried out by powerful forces lurking in the shadows. In his final days, Michael repeatedly warned that he was being hunted, that certain people were waiting for the right moment to take his most prized possession, a music catalog worth billions. He wept, trembled, and begged for protection. And then all of Michael's warnings came to life in the most devastating way. Could this be the truth that has been hidden from the public for more than a decade? Who was really behind it all? Why did Michael have to become a casualty in such a ruthless game? If you believe there are secrets surrounding Michael's death, drop a 1 in the comments. If you see it differently, type 0. Before we dive deeper into the details and uncover the shocking truths behind this world-shaking tragedy, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single revelation. Ethel Barrymore, born in 1879 and passed away in 1959, left the world with these final words, "Is everybody happy? I know I am." Though she was one of the great actresses of stage and screen, Ethel harbored a fear of public speaking and often felt anxious when addressing crowds. Her calm and graceful final words are all the more touching, reflecting a sense of peace and fulfillment in the closing moments of a life rich in artistic achievement. However, for the Jackson family, especially Janet LaToya and Michael's daughter Paris, that version of events was never the complete truth. They believed Murray was just a scapegoat, a sacrificial lamb to calm the public, while the true culprits behind the tragedy stayed hidden. In a heartfelt interview, Janet Jackson said, "It's hard to believe. Something's not right." Her short statement left a cloud of mystery and countless unanswered questions. On June 25, 2009, the world seemed to freeze as news spread that pop icon Michael Jackson had passed away at the age of 50. The announcement not only shook the music industry, but also left millions of fans around the globe in utter shock. It marked the loss of a legend, an artist who had forever transformed the music industry and popular culture. For many, it felt like the end of an era they would never get back. According to the official report from the Los Angeles Coroner's Office, Michael died from acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication, which caused a fatal heart attack. These drugs had been administered by his personal physician, Conrad Murray. Almost instantly, public attention zeroed in on Murray, sparking outrage and questions like, how could a doctor be so reckless as to use a hospital-only drug in a patient's bedroom? This led to a lengthy investigation that gripped the world's attention. Janet Jackson didn't deny Conrad Murray's involvement, but she firmly believed that many pieces of the puzzle never truly fit together. Michael Jackson's death felt far too sudden, especially since he was gearing up for the extravagant This Is It tour, which was expected to be the most spectacular comeback of his career. Michael wasn't just a performer. He was an icon, a priceless asset to the entertainment world. This is why his passing sparked deeper questions about who was really pulling the strings behind the tragedy. LaToya Jackson. Michael's sister went even further, repeatedly claiming that her brother had warned her about his own death. She recalled how Michael often confided in her, saying he felt constantly watched and surrounded by people eager to take control of his massive music catalog. These chilling conversations left LaToya convinced that his fears were not just paranoia, but a glimpse of a dangerous reality. In this context, the verdict against Conrad Murray felt like a thin veil, hiding much deeper questions. Why did Michael need propofol every single night just to sleep? Who permitted this illegal treatment to go on for months without anyone noticing? And most importantly, if Murray was merely a small link in a much bigger chain, who truly stood to gain from Michael Jackson's death? Janet, LaToya, and Paris have repeatedly raised these haunting questions, refusing to let the truth be buried. Murray may have been the direct culprit, but he certainly wasn't the only one involved, as Janet once admitted, emphasizing that something felt deeply wrong. The clash between the official legal narrative and the family's unwavering belief has ignited a long and bitter battle. This ongoing struggle has kept Michael's death surrounded by mystery and suspicion. This wasn't just a collection of songs, but a diamond crown in the music industry, holding publishing rights to the Beatles' catalog, along with countless other priceless works. It was an asset valued at billions of dollars, and Michael knew all too well that powerful forces openly coveted control over it. This immense treasure made him both influential and dangerously vulnerable. While the public focused on the story of Conrad Murray and the fatal dose, the Jackson family saw things very differently. They firmly believed that Michael's death was no accident, but the result of a calculated, premeditated conspiracy. Paris Jackson, who was just a teenager at the time, but later came of age, has repeatedly spoken out about her view. She has never believed that her father died naturally. Paris revealed that in his final days, Michael often seemed stressed, fearful, and deeply troubled. This was not the picture of a man preparing for the biggest tour of his career, but of someone being relentlessly pushed to the breaking point. For some, Michael's death was merely the tragic result of a risky habit taken too far. But for those who knew him best, it was a carefully orchestrated tragedy, one that Michael himself sensed was coming, but was powerless to prevent. From this point, the story shifts dramatically, revealing cryptic warnings, tangled relationships within the music industry, and whispers of a ruthless, power-hungry conspiracy. These elements form a dark puzzle that still haunts his legacy today. Michael Jackson's death, instead of being fully resolved by a single verdict, opened countless dark alleys of doubt, leaving the public to wonder if the King of Pop really died from a simple medical accident. Now the curtain is slowly being pulled back. Revelations from LaToya Jackson, Michael's sister and trusted confidant, have added a whole new layer of mystery and intrigue. The narrative has shifted far beyond just an irresponsible doctor or a risky sleep aid. To understand why Michael believed he was being targeted, we have to talk about one of his most valuable assets, Sony ATV Music Publishing. In 1985, Michael Jackson shocked the world by paying $47.5 million to acquire ATV, the company that owned the publishing rights to most of the Beatles' songs. It was hailed as one of the smartest business moves in music history. Back then, few could have imagined an artist daring enough to buy what was essentially the very heart of the global pop music industry. Later, Michael merged ATV with Sony to create Sony ATV, where he held a 50% stake. This gave him partial control over a massive catalog of legendary works, including songs by the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and Elvis Presley. By the 2000s, the catalog's estimated value had soared into the billions of dollars. It's no wonder Michael believed it was being targeted by powerful forces. In the music industry, publishing rights aren't just a source of income, they represent influence, control, and extraordinary power. Instead, it exposes a series of chilling warnings Michael himself shared before his death. LaToya has revealed in several interviews that Michael repeatedly told her he felt like he was being hunted. He would whisper to his sister that he was in danger, that there were powerful people who wanted to take everything he owned. These weren't just late-night conversations or casual worries. They were the desperate confessions of a man living in constant fear, convinced that death could come for him at any moment. Michael couldn't conceal his growing paranoia. In several conversations, he warned that if he were to die suddenly, no one should ever believe it was just a coincidence. LaToya remembered how he would repeat one chilling message over and over. "They want my catalog. That's all they want." His words left her deeply unsettled, as if he knew exactly what was coming. Whoever controlled this catalog held the power to decide how those timeless songs were used, reissued, and commercially exploited. According to LaToya, Michael often said he didn't actually want to do the This Is It tour, but was pressured into it. While the public saw him on stage at the press conference, smiling and announcing, "This is it. These will be my final shows behind closed doors," he confessed to his family that he was exhausted and felt trapped. This stark contrast painted a picture of a man under immense pressure and fear. At the time, Michael Jackson was frail, frequently sleepless, and heavily dependent on sedatives. This only intensified his fear that someone was deliberately pushing him to his breaking point, both physically and mentally, to wear him down as an artist and ultimately take what he treasured most, his music catalog. Paris Jackson, remembering her father's final days, revealed that he would often cry alone, shivering in a dark, cold room. She said he sometimes wept because he felt something terrible was about to happen. These heartbreaking details add a haunting layer to his tragic story. If what LaToya claims is true, then Michael didn't die because of a doctor's mistake, but as part of a calculated plan to take control of his assets. After his death, both the media and fans around the world began looking deeper into the family's account of events. Many remembered Michael's public accusations against the music industry. At a 2002 press conference, he famously called Tommy Mottola, then CEO of Sony, a devil, and accused the industry of exploiting and mistreating artists. While that moment caused major controversy at the time after Michael's passing, it took on a far more ominous meaning. There was a time when Brigitte Bardot defined freedom sunbathing on the rooftops of Saint-Tropez, her hair flowing like rebellious silk. She retired at 39, vowing never to let the cameras swallow her again. She kept that promise, but traded the cinema stage for political minefields. Now, 89 Bardot rarely appears, her face unaltered by plastic surgery, but worn by time and the Provençal sun, along with her rigid beliefs. LaToya firmly maintained that Michael's warnings were not mere paranoia. Known for his sensitivity, he had an acute awareness of the shifts and motives of those around him. His repeated insistence that they want my catalog couldn't simply be brushed off as unfounded fear. To LaToya, what happened on June 25, 2009, was the tragic fulfillment of a prophecy. Her brother had foreseen his fate, but was powerless to escape it. In one interview, she even declared Michael knew. He said it over and over. They would kill him for that catalog. These words continue to haunt fans and fuel suspicions to this day. From this point, the story turns from a simple medical accident to a carefully planned conspiracy. While the public may have viewed the verdict against Conrad Murray as the end of the case for the Jackson family, it was only the tip of a much larger iceberg. LaToya believed Murray was selected to absorb the public's anger and deflect attention from the real forces at play. If it were truly just a doctor's mistake, why did Michael repeatedly warn about a staged death? Why did he so clearly connect it to his priceless music catalog? These haunting questions only deepened public doubt and suspicion. A legendary artist who owned an immeasurably valuable music catalog predicted his own death, and it unfolded exactly as he had feared. This marks the first major climax in the tragedy of Michael Jackson, a death that was initially labeled an accident. Now, growing circumstantial evidence suggests he had a chilling premonition of his fate. The gap between the official account and the family's beliefs has widened into a deep and unbridgeable chasm. For Janet, LaToya, and Paris, this story isn't only about mourning a beloved brother and father. It's also a relentless fight to expose the truth, challenging a system they believe was responsible for Michael's death. From the moment LaToya revealed her brother's chilling warnings, public opinion split sharply. Some continued to believe the official legal conclusion that it was nothing more than the tragic mistake of a careless doctor. Others began questioning whether a far darker plan had been in play all along. No one can deny that to Paris, Michael was more than just the king of pop. He was a loving, devoted father who protected her through a chaotic and often painful childhood. So when Paris repeatedly declared that she didn't believe her father died naturally, it sent shockwaves around the world. Her words gave new weight to the family's suspicions and reignited questions about what really happened. In several interviews, Paris shared heartbreaking details about Michael's final days. She described how he was often cold, tense, and consumed by fear. Paris remembered seeing her father cry many times sometimes for reasons he couldn't even explain. This was no longer the image of a world-class artist gearing up for a spectacular concert series. Instead, it was the haunting picture of a man worn down, suppressed, and utterly exhausted. The other side became fixated on Michael's final words, convinced that his death was carefully planned and his catalog was the ultimate motive. By this point, the story had grown far beyond the life of a pop icon. It had turned into a high-stakes battle for truth. Who would stand by the official legal record, and who would side with the family, the ones who lived closest to Michael and heard his terrifying warnings firsthand? Because as LaToya passionately insisted, Michael knew what was coming. When a brilliant artist like Michael Jackson, who had the power to move the entire world with his music, claims his death was orchestrated, it's difficult to dismiss it as mere fantasy. If LaToya Jackson speaks as the sister who witnessed Michael's private fears and warnings, then Paris, his daughter, provides a deeply emotional and genuine perspective from the heart of the family. Together, their voices create a powerful testament to a story still shrouded in mystery. Paris once shared. Sometimes he would cry. He was cold, anxious, and scared. I could feel it. Something was wrong. These words reveal a hidden side of Michael that starkly contrasts with the confident image the world saw at the This Is It press conference. On stage, he smiled and spoke with excitement, promising unforgettable performances. But behind closed doors, he was living in isolation, weighed down by fear and overwhelming pressure. What are your thoughts on the hidden struggles behind Michael's fame? Share them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. All the signs point to one conclusion: it was a setup. Paris didn't hesitate to make her stance clear. In a frank conversation with Rolling Stone, she stated, "All the arrows point to it. It was a setup." Her words quickly became one of the most explosive and controversial statements ever made about Michael Jackson's death. This bold claim reignited debates and fueled worldwide speculation. On the other hand, many felt that Paris's words carried significant weight because she was the one closest to Michael during his final years. After all, who could understand his state of mind and struggles better than his own daughter? Because of this, every time Paris spoke about the circumstances surrounding his death, her words sparked intense public debate. Each statement she made seemed to open new questions rather than provide answers. On social media, thousands of fans voiced their support and sympathy. Many argued if his own daughter believes it was a conspiracy, we can't just ignore that. But others strongly disagreed, saying Paris is simply grieving and her emotions can't be taken as proof. This divide sparked heated discussions with both sides passionately defending their beliefs. Paris's words didn't just reflect the deep pain of losing her father, they also hinted at manipulation by hidden forces. According to her, the people surrounding Michael played a crucial role in wearing him down both mentally and physically. While she never revealed exactly who they were, her statement alone was powerful enough to ignite a storm of public debate. Many began to question who truly had Michael's best interests at heart. His absence from public events and film projects has raised concern among fans, but it has also sparked a renewed appreciation for his extraordinary career and the lasting influence he's had on the film world. Celebrated not just for his talent but also for his unmistakable charisma, Nicholson has a rare gift for portraying complex characters with depth and authenticity. His legacy lives on through his iconic roles, securing his place as one of the most respected and unforgettable actors in the history of cinema. To truly understand the weight of Paris's words, it's important to remember that her childhood was shaped by both wonder and hardship. Born in 1998, she grew up in Neverland, often described as Michael's magical fairy tale kingdom. But alongside those enchanting memories, Paris also witnessed her father enduring crushing pressure, endless lawsuits, damaging accusations, and the relentless glare of public scrutiny. She wasn't just an outside observer, she lived through the chaos right by his side. She lived in that home, witnessing firsthand her father's battles with insomnia, financial strain, and tangled relationships within the entertainment industry. That's why when Paris claims there were people around Michael who contributed to his downfall, it isn't just speculation. It's the vivid recollection of a daughter who saw her father surrounded and pressured from all sides. What made her words even more compelling was that Paris didn't stop at mere suspicion. She was nearly certain that her father had been deliberately set up. Every time Paris speaks publicly, she makes it clear that her father was a kind, loving man, and that his death was anything but simple. These statements have earned her deep sympathy, while also placing her in the middle of ongoing controversy. Remarkably, despite facing doubt and criticism, Paris continues to receive overwhelming support. Many of Michael's fans often post on social media saying, "If we truly love Michael, we must also listen to Paris." This unwavering loyalty keeps her voice powerful and influential. Every time Paris speaks publicly, she passionately emphasizes that her father was a gentle, loving soul and that his death was far more complex than the world was led to believe. Her words have drawn deep sympathy, while also placing her at the heart of relentless controversy. Despite skepticism and harsh criticism, Paris continues to receive an incredible outpouring of support. Many of Michael's fans often write on social media, "If we truly love Michael, we must also listen to Paris." This unwavering loyalty has made her voice not only powerful but impossible to ignore. In Western culture, it's extremely rare and deeply shocking for a child to openly suggest that their father's death was orchestrated by outside forces. The phrase, "all the arrows point to it," became a haunting reflection of both pain and powerlessness. It also reveals something deeply personal. Michael left behind unspoken signs in his daughter's heart that he was in danger. This is why Paris refuses to accept the official narrative and continues to seek the truth. After her father's death, Paris went through a devastating personal crisis. She admitted to struggling with deep depression and even taking extreme self-destructive actions. Yet amidst that darkness, Paris revealed that her pain became the driving force behind her mission to protect the truth about Michael Jackson's death. Her determination grew stronger with every challenge she faced. It's no longer a tragedy that can be neatly closed and stored away in a legal file. It has become a mystery filled with haunting questions. Every word Paris speaks is like a shard of broken glass, reflecting hidden truths the public has never fully confronted. For the Jackson family, her voice represents more than grief. It's a continuation of Michael's legacy, a legacy built not only on timeless music, but also on the relentless pursuit of truth. But for the rest of the world, it serves as a stark reminder that we may never fully uncover what truly happened on that fateful morning of June 25, 2009. It is at this point that the second climax of the story begins to unfold. If in the previous chapter LaToya offered cryptic warnings and ominous clues, in this chapter, Paris brings forth a deeply emotional testimony, not whispers of rumor, but the raw, vivid memories of a daughter who lived through it. For many years, Tommy Mottola served as the CEO of Sony Music Entertainment, a company deeply intertwined with Michael Jackson's career. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Michael was one of Sony's biggest stars, working with the label to release legendary albums like Bad, Dangerous, and History, which generated billions in revenue. However, as time went on, tensions began to rise when Michael started asserting his independence and pushing back against the label's control. The conflict reached its peak in 2002 during a public press conference where Michael boldly called out Tommy Mottola, describing him as a manipulative devil. This shocking moment marked a turning point in their relationship. Michael openly accused Mottola and other industry executives of abusing their power, exploiting artists, and secretly conspiring against him. He told the public, "The record companies really do conspire against the artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever it takes, and Tommy Mottola is a devil." This wasn't a casual complaint. It was a direct and explosive attack on some of the most powerful figures in the music world. That moment became a defining turning point, convincing many that Michael had challenged forces far greater and more dangerous than anyone had realized. The combination of LaToya's warnings and Paris's statements makes the story even more haunting. It's not merely a conspiracy within the music industry. It's a deep, unhealed wound at the core of the family. When Paris proclaimed it was a setup, the public realized that Michael Jackson's story didn't end with Conrad Murray's verdict. It was just the beginning. If LaToya and Paris Jackson's words planted the idea that Michael didn't leave this world by simple medical accident, this chapter exposes an even greater shadow, the shadow over the entire music industry. It was a realm where Michael ruled as king, yet also where he confronted his fiercest adversaries. His legacy continues to stir questions that remain unanswered to this day. No one anticipated that a rapper like Kanye West would publicly bring up Tommy Mottola's name following Michael's death. In a speech, Kanye suggested that the music industry's top executives were not just managers, but could also act as hidden controllers. The mention of Mottola instantly ignited a media frenzy, as he was far from an ordinary figure. His words sent shockwaves through fans and insiders alike. Another troubling aspect of Michael's final years was the abrupt change in his inner circle. Longtime associates were gradually pushed aside, replaced by new advisors, including Dr. Toma Toma, often mistakenly called Toe. Toma stepped in as a financial advisor and quickly gained control over many critical decisions concerning Michael's assets and career. He played a key role in negotiating the contract for the This Is It tour. This shift alarmed Michael's longtime friends and family, who feared he was becoming isolated from those who truly cared for him, now surrounded by newcomers, motivated purely by profit. The growing influence of these outsiders only deepened concerns about his safety and well-being. Some fans even wondered, was someone intentionally reshaping Michael's inner circle to make him more controllable? As noted in the previous chapter, Michael's music catalog was a highly prized treasure. Holding 50% of Sony ATV Music Publishing gave him complete control over thousands of legendary songs. This immense power made him a target for those seeking influence and profit. When someone is both an extraordinary artist and one of the most influential shareholders in the industry, their life is shaped not only by art, but also by business politics. According to his family, Michael was fully aware of this reality. He understood that his prominence had made him a target. This awareness weighed heavily on him in his final years. If the earlier chapters focused on the family's internal doubts, here, the external forces step into the spotlight. Tommy Mottola, Sony financial advisors, and the music industry at large cast a massive shadow over Michael Jackson. Paris stated, "All the arrows point to it." This looming presence added an even greater layer of tension to Michael's life and career. In this context, the tension between Michael and Sony, especially with Tommy Mottola, went far beyond a typical artist-label conflict. It was a high-stakes power struggle worth billions of dollars. On one side, Michael fought to preserve his independence and safeguard his assets. On the other, powerful forces within the music industry were determined to seize complete control. The clash highlighted just how dangerous fame and influence could be in such a competitive world. LaToya once suggested that Michael realized this from the start, and Paris confirmed that those around their father contributed to pushing him to the edge. When these elements are combined, a dark picture comes into view. Michael Jackson was not merely a star battling insomnia and depending on sedatives. He was a giant in the music industry, holding enormous financial and cultural influence while openly challenging its top figures. His courage in speaking out made him both respected and a target. Indeed, when all the pieces are considered, many arrows point toward external forces with the greatest motives, wealth, and influence. After Michael's death, Sony swiftly profited from re-releases from the This Is It film to monetizing his music catalog. This only fueled the doubts of those already wary. Was Michael's death simply a coincidence that benefited so many powerful players? In the Jackson family's eyes, it was far from random. The timing and outcomes only intensified their suspicions. It's as if it were a pre-planned game, with Michael cast as a sacrificial pawn, and the true beneficiaries being those who took control of his assets after his death. Here unfolds the third climax of the entire story. If Michael's death was purely a medical accident, why was it connected to billion-dollar disputes in the music industry? If Conrad Murray was merely a careless doctor, why did Michael publicly call out Sony and Mottola shortly before his death? These questions have elevated Michael Jackson's passing beyond a simple criminal case. It has become a profound systemic tragedy that continues to haunt the industry. According to proponents of this theory, Michael Jackson was not merely an artist, but a figure capable of touching the hearts of hundreds of millions worldwide. He possessed a weapon more powerful than anyone else's: music and truth. It is believed that Michael consistently defied dark forces. In his performances, he often used imagery, lyrics, or statements to call out injustice and the manipulation of those in power. This bold challenge to the system made Michael a persistent thorn in the side of the elite. His courage in speaking out inspired countless fans around the globe. In the eyes of those who subscribe to the Illuminati theory, Michael's death was like removing a rebellious figure, someone who knew too much, spoke too much, and refused to bow down. Another theory suggests that the child abuse allegations against Michael in 1993 and 2005 were calculated attacks designed to ruin his reputation. By smearing him, the media and the powerful forces behind it aimed to destroy Michael's public image, isolate him, and make it nearly impossible for him to defend himself. This strategy, if true, shows just how high the stakes were against him. The artist confronted a vast, relentless industry machine and ultimately paid the ultimate price. Michael Jackson's death shocked the world, not only because of the sudden loss of a music legend, but also because it ignited a wave of conspiracy theories that continue to swirl. His legacy remains both celebrated and endlessly scrutinized. When a global superstar with immense wealth and musical influence dies suddenly under questionable circumstances, the public finds it hard to accept a straightforward official explanation. As a result, from social media to tabloids to TV interviews, a torrent of theories quickly emerged. One of the most discussed revolves around a secretive organization often called the Illuminati. These theories continue to fuel debates and speculation years later. LaToya Jackson once indicated that those lawsuits left Michael exhausted mentally, financially, and physically. Some devoted fans believe they signaled the start of a long-term scheme that ultimately led to his mysterious death in 2009. This perspective adds another layer to the enduring questions surrounding his final years. From this viewpoint, Michael Jackson's death was not a standalone event, but the result of a series of conspiracies targeting the king of pop. Another theory centers on Michael's will. After his passing, a will surfaced, showing that he left the bulk of his estate to a trust, the Michael Jackson Family Trust, rather than directly to his parents or siblings. This decision has fueled speculation about hidden motives and control over his legacy. In the days after the funeral, the internet was flooded with fan-shared evidence. A blurry video appeared showing a man resembling Michael stepping out of an ambulance. Photos, supposedly showing Michael in disguise, surfaced at airports in Paris and even South America. Some posthumous recordings featured a mysterious voice. For those who couldn't accept his death, the belief that Michael was still alive became a way to cope with their grief. This phenomenon demonstrates the profound impact he had on fans worldwide. For those who support this conspiracy theory, they argue that Michael was compelled to fake his death to evade the grip of dark forces. The common thread running through all these theories is a profound distrust of the official story. The notion that a personal doctor was convicted of manslaughter, served just 2 years, and was then released feels far too simplistic to account for the death of one of the world's most influential figures. This skepticism continues to fuel debates and speculation among fans and researchers alike. Immediately, some family members asked, "Is that really Michael's will?" Numerous suspicious details emerged. Michael was reportedly in New York on the day the will was signed, yet witnesses insisted he was in Los Angeles. The signature on the will allegedly didn't match his authentic one. The people named to manage his estate were lawyers and managers who hadn't been especially close to Michael beforehand. These discrepancies raised serious doubts about the document's legitimacy. If the will was indeed forged, it would mean Michael's billion-dollar estate was redirected according to a carefully orchestrated plan. The Jackson family has voiced their concerns repeatedly, yet the matter has never been fully resolved. Amid a sea of dark theories, a peculiar hope has emerged that Michael is still alive. This idea continues to captivate and comfort many fans around the world. The public found the official answers unsatisfying. And when trust breaks, imagination fills the void. From that moment, Michael Jackson's death stopped being just a personal tragedy. It became fertile ground for legends. What makes these conspiracy theories difficult to ignore is Michael's public persona. He wasn't merely an artist. He was a global cultural icon whose influence transcended music. Those who loved him found it hard to believe that someone so extraordinary could die from a medical mistake. In their minds, Michael Jackson must have gone for a greater reason, a hidden conspiracy, or perhaps never left at all. Over time, his death transcended reality, evolving into a myth that was passed down, embellished, and ingrained in the collective imagination. This enduring legend keeps his memory alive in ways no ordinary biography could. Among Michael Jackson's family, Janet Jackson was perhaps the most composed in public. Yet behind her strong exterior, a profound pain remained. In many conversations, Janet admitted she never fully accepted her brother's death, not only because of the void Michael left, but also because of the dark, troubling circumstances surrounding it. In a heartfelt interview, Janet spoke slowly, as if every word carried the weight of her grief. Her sorrow revealed the human cost behind the global legend. Something was definitely planned. I just don't believe things happened the way they say. These remarks ignited a wave of public outrage. She didn't name names or offer concrete proof, yet each word struck deeply at an unhealed wound. For Janet, the pain went beyond losing a legend. It was the loss of the brother she had grown up with in a modest home in Gary, Indiana. Her words reminded fans that behind the fame, there was a deeply personal grief. Looking back, a paradox becomes clear. Michael Jackson endured a lifetime of misunderstanding attacks and relentless pressure from the media and hidden forces. Yet his mysterious death only cemented that image. He was not just the king of pop, but a tragic legend comparable to Elvis Presley or Marilyn Monroe, icons who left this world wrapped in mystery, leaving countless questions unanswered. With Michael, that legend extends even further, captivating generations across the globe. From the Illuminati and a forged will to rumors that he's still alive, all these threads have created a legacy no adversary could erase. The conspiracy theories may never be confirmed, but they reveal another truth the world refuses to accept: that Michael Jackson died an ordinary death. Whatever the reality, the public has embraced a grander, more dramatic narrative, one befitting an extraordinary life. In this way, Michael's death has transcended the limits of a historical event. It has become a legend. And once a legend is born, it endures forever regardless of the truth. In Janet's eyes, Michael was more than the king of pop. He was the boy who shared her dreams of singing, who protected her from the harsh pressures of their family and the music industry. When Michael passed, Janet felt as if she had lost a part of her childhood, the one person who truly understood her. She stressed, "We didn't just lose a star. He was a father, a brother, a son. Our family lost a piece of its soul." Her words capture the profound personal loss behind the public mourning. Through these words, the public can feel the inner struggle between accepting the legal conclusion that Michael's death was merely due to medical negligence and holding on to the persistent belief that the full truth remains hidden. For the Jackson family particularly, Janet, the court records, and Conrad Murray's verdict are merely a thin veil over a deeper story. The doubt lingers like a smoldering wound that refuses to heal. This tension underscores the lasting impact of Michael's life and death on those closest to him. Michael Jackson's death will forever stand as one of the greatest mysteries in music history. What the courts declared may represent the legal truth, but for his family, Janet LaToya Paris, and millions of fans around the world, unanswered shadows remain. The warnings Michael gave before his passing, the fears he expressed, Paris's tears, and Janet's choked words continue to resonate. These enduring echoes remind the world of the profound impact he left behind. All of this has turned the story from a personal tragedy into a reflection of the darker side of the entertainment industry and the influence of money. Michael Jackson was more than an artist. He was an icon, a man who longed for creative freedom while confronting immense pressures behind the spotlight. His struggle highlights the human cost of fame and power. This lingering doubt makes it impossible to see Michael Jackson's death as just an accident. Over a decade later, Janet still talks about her brother often in interviews, in the lyrics she writes, and through the silent emotion in her eyes when she's performing. To her, Michael is still very much a part of her life. His presence continues to influence everything she does. He serves as a reminder that even the brightest light can be taken away by darkness, and sometimes the truth is more complicated than any story could ever tell. The chapter may have ended, but the questions remain. Justice may have had its say, but the hearts of the Jackson family and millions of fans around the world still quietly say, Michael Jackson didn't die by accident. His legacy keeps those questions alive to this day. Whether or not the full truth ever comes out, Michael Jackson's musical and spiritual legacy will live on forever in the hearts of people everywhere. If you believe this story should be remembered, please share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for future updates. Together, we can make sure Michael's voice is never lost. Thank you for being part of this journey to the very end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all our daily content. Now feel free to watch some of our latest and most popular videos shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos. Your support means everything and helps keep Michael's memory alive.